And the pot calls the kettle black, calls the kettle burnt, calls her mad. Kettle reminds the pot that we both been burned on the same stove, that the parts of our bodies that are layered in soot were scorched by the same hands. Kettle tells pot that she still boils water, holds the hot breath of a white man's tongue, endures the slow simmer of a white woman's allyship, and still we make something beautiful. Pot calls the kettle wicked, and kettle says no, but says she's so magical she burned the hand of the last man who tried to pour himself a piece of her. Says she's so black, she is everything. So black, she is the beginning. She is the first thing someone finds home in when they wake up in the morning. Says, ain't that what it means to be black? To have the world go up in flames around you and still be sanctuary for someone, saving men who lost themselves the night before, saving men who curse our names but forget his mama is made of steel too. And now the pot has no words but calls the kettle bitter, but loves the glass pan, the fine china, loves all the exotic shit white men put behind glass casings, loves how fragile things not made of steel can be. But this isn't about the pot or the pan. This is about the kettle, the black woman, how she pours herself across the earth, but no one bats an eye when the water disappears. We give ourselves to men who never love us, but they say we are difficult, too hard to break. How we, the kettle, praise this pot, this man for all the water he holds. How we are the only ones who do not call him monster when the water boils over, because we know this heat, this white flame, hot enough to make any of us explode. We are the first ones to make noise when the world goes up in flames, but they say the earth was saved by the man who heard her scream. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says yes, but says you best remember you black too. The next time they bring a fire to your neck, they burn black bodies on the stake and the stove. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says bitch I might be, says nuck if you buck, then says wipe me down. Kettle says yes my nigga, I be black, I be mad, and I boiled the last man down to his bones when he tried to test me. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says hell yes, but don't say my name as if you ain't ever been burnt too.
What is up? What is up? What is up on the ones and twos for you? Let me pause it right here.
That's one thing you did.
Pause it right here. Pause it right there. Got one of my favorites up and ready to go. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Here we go, y'all. Let's listen to, this is from Your Triggered. She gets the best clips. She does the best work. And you damn well better like and subscribe her channel, please. Okay, that is Your Triggered. Here we go. You got to check this out. Check this out. You know, Kevin Samuels used to say, you know, black women, he didn't say women, he said black women hit the wall at 30, right? Well, he left out a little something. They do that quite often in the red pill, though. Let's see what happens to men when they hit the wall. Listen, he will tell you why he hit the wall. He will tell you why right now. Here we go.
That's one thing you did when you were in your 20s that you regret. That would change your life today.
I regret being a hoe.
Let me pause it right there because you may have not heard it loud enough. I'm just going to clip it up. I'm not going to repeat what he says because I don't want to ruin the suspense. Here we go.
That's one thing you did when you were in your 20s that you regret. That would change your life today.
I regret being a hoe.
Just in case you didn't hear it, he said he regrets being a hoe. You know he's a hoe.
When I was in my 20s, I was a hoe.
What do you mean by that?
I was a hoe. I was doing a lot of women that I shouldn't have been doing, and I had a family that I could deal with. So I was just out there doing, you know, anybody.
So he knew even in his 20s, Number one, that he is a hoe or was a hoe. Okay. Two, he could have he had a family. Okay. And he chose otherwise. Henry Mars, the rat girl in the house. It's good to see both of you. Jizzy is in the house. He regrets not having, let me put Jizzy on the screen here. He regrets not having guidance. Where was his father? Yeah, you're right. Jizzy, I believe his father was with where a lot of other fathers were, with hoes or women they would refer to as hoes. Let's listen, and being hoes. They were out being hoes. Some of the women they got around with, they weren't hoes. They were just thinking that the man liked them. But you know how that's the Jizzy, you know better than me, the 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 art of the game. There are some men that just want to game women. They don't even know what love means. They love to game women. That's what they love. It's their passion. The rock girl breaks it down. He cares now that he's headed for the old man Mojo Doza Casa. Exactly that. Exactly that. Let's keep it going though. This time I'm going to play it from the beginning, but I'm not going to interrupt it. Here we go.
What's one thing you did when you were in your 20s that you regret? That would change your life today.
I regret being a hoe. When I was in my 20s, I was a hoe.
What do you mean by that?
I was a hoe. I was doing a lot of women that I
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
shouldn't have been doing, and I had a family that I could deal with. So I was
Wherever he was, laid his hat was his home.
just out there doing, anybody. Not like that, but I was just picking and choosing what I wanted and who I wanted. Because I had a little reputation here in Springfield, and that got me a lot of things, and especially a lot of women. And I regret using them, and regret using who I was.
Wow. So you would
And I guess he was a hoe. So I guess that's what, his reputation is talking about.
not like smash the women.
I wouldn't have smashed them like I did. No.
What would you would have did?
What would have done? Stay with my one son's mother and been married and been happy today.
Boom. There it is, folks. The reason why I brought this up was to make a very clear message that most men know when they are young that they could start a family and be monogamous, but the stats obviously show differently, right? We know the stats because the stats are basically that if that was the case and young men did what this man right here, this old man now says that he should have done, there would be a huge drop in single motherhood, a huge drop. Because you guys said men are the leaders, right? If men are the leaders, then they have control over the future of not only themselves, but possibly other people. But that's not what happened here, right? He wanted to be at 8. He wanted to be a hoe. He's a hoe. Okay? So that's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah. Probably still doesn't know the sperm donor. Yep. Tanya Sweat in the house. Tanya Sweat. Here we go.
That's probably a regret that I've gotten over, but I would still be with her because I still have some great feelings for her in my heart, but I know how to navigate through that. But I wouldn't have been the hoe that I was.
So he knows that the woman that he had a child with a long time ago, okay, was the right woman. He knew she was the right woman. You heard him say that. You heard him allude to that. He knows he messed up. Now, his son is probably in his late 30s, early 40s, right? So it's been a long time for him to regret this and think about this. And there it is, folks. There it is.
Back then.
So what made you be a hoe?
It was ingrained in me. My uncle was a hoe. My grandfather was a hoe. My brothers was hoes. My cousins was hoes.
Wow. Let's go back. Okay. If you want to hear the rest, if you want to hear the commentary, you have to go to Your Triggers channel. But I appreciate you being here, but you heard what he said. See, he realizes that he had the opportunity and the influence and the power to not have to be a hoe, but he wanted to be a hoe. But at least he's enlightened enough that he's not blaming the women. Okay. And he knows you listen to this again. You got to listen to this part one more time. You got to listen to this. Listen closely.
Because I still have some great feelings for her in my heart, but I know how to navigate through that. But I wouldn't have been the hoe that I was back then.
So what made you be a
He
hoe?
still loves a woman, but his hold'em, his banditry took over.
A regret that I've gotten over, but I would still be with her because I still have some great feelings for her in my heart, but I know how to navigate through that. But I
Wow.
wouldn't have been the hoe that I was back then.
So what made you be a hoe?
It was ingrained in me. My uncle was a hoe. My grandfather was a hoe. My brothers was hoes. My cousins was hoes.
Okay, so that's a lot of men in the community. That's just about everybody in our community, folks. That's just about everybody in our community. Because, you know, he went, his father was one. His brother was a HOE. I mean, basically, that's the problem. Folks, that's the problem we have. Fellas, don't listen to what Kevin Samuel said because he's a hoe. Okay? A man running around with 6 women, okay, as he called it, okay, his rotation that are half his age, he was a hoe. He was a hoe. He cost 15 cents at $1 show. He's a hoe. Well, anyway, it's like this. This is what's going down. This is an old man, okay, who's not a feminist, clearly not a feminist, right? Telling everybody what's going down. Let's listen to more.
I'm really struggling on how honest to be with this video. But I told myself I was going to stop holding back and
No. You got to go to her channel. You got to go to her channel and hear her amazing commentary. But we're going to listen to him one more time, and then we're going to move forward. Here we go.
A regret that I've gotten over, but I would still be with her. Because
And that's another thing is that a lot of men don't like to feel regret. So instead of having to feel regret and that pain of knowing that they had the right woman in front of them, okay, they decide to do the opposite and blame the woman for these men feeling regret for what these men's action did. Okay? The woman didn't do it. Most women want love, they want marriage, they want a house, they want a picket fence. That's just what a lot of women want. Tanya Sweat, an honest hoe who knew it really existed.
Wow. So you would have not like smashed the women?
I wouldn't have smashed them like I did. No.
What would you would have did?
What would have done? Stay with my one son's mother and been married.
There you got it. Stayed with his one son's mother and been married. He knew he had that option and choice, but he didn't choose it. So a lot of men want to blame women for having children, but they don't tell you this part of the story. A lot of these men that blame women for having children have children from women that they should have married and didn't. Ain't that something? Well, break this down. Let's break this down right here. I got more for you. I got more.
So this British Instagram model, let's call him Pikachu.
Now, I know some of you may not know him, but he was big. I got a big message to tell you after this. Okay, so he's popular. He's a good-looking guy to what people will say, because I guess he was a model, right? So let's see what see what happens.
Pikachu is living the big influencer lifestyle. He's traveling all over the world, Greece, Los Angeles. He's always got the newest drip, like wearing that, and whatever that is. And people are like, wow, how can he afford all this? Dude must be really successful. Regardless, he's living a great life. Until one day, Pikachu takes a little trip to Peru for a little vacation. He hits up Cusco, Lima, Machu Picchu, and when his trip is over, he's
living it up. Living it up.
To the airport to leave back to London. And he's checking into his flight, and two officers suddenly approach him and they want to talk to him. But allegedly, Pikachu's Spanish isn't that good, so he's confused. So the two officers, they take him into a room and they make him sit down. And they have his suitcase and they take all of his stuff out of it. And this officer starts like tearing the suitcase up, and he runs
this can't be good.
some quick tests, and that's when they find a substance. And Pikachu, he's so confused. He's like, a substance? It doesn't look like he knows what's going on.
Que podemos observar una coloración.
And then the officer rips up the suitcase even more. And that's when they find a secret compartment. And in that compartment, $375,000 worth of cocaine. So,
oops. Not good, Pikachu. Not good, Pikachu.
how did Pikachu afford that big influencer lifestyle? All those trips around the world, the clothes, all that stuff? Turns out he's secretly a drug mule. And for a trip like this, mules usually get paid around $6,000 to $7,000 US. So that's probably what he was going to get paid. And to his credit, when he finally does get caught, he does his best surprise Pikachu face. Oh, how did that get in there? And because the Peruvian system moves fast, within the next 24 hours, they arrest him, he has a full trial, he pleads guilty, and they sentence him to nearly 7 years in Peruvian prison. And that is not going to be fun. Shout out to Peru.
Kanye West.
Oh,
Yay.
man. Here we go to Kanye West, y'all. Here we go. Kevin's in the house. Rat Girl's in the house. Tanya's in the house. Henry's in the house. We're just having a Friday night party. Swallowed up Friday night variety show. Jizzy's in the house. We got everybody up in here tonight. Let's party. Here we go.
Has been accused of sexual harassment by his former assistant. Put it up for a mass.
There we go. Another bandit, another day. It was just a matter of time. To me, I'm just convinced the hip hop culture is it's the exploitation culture for both genders, by the way. And it's our culture. You know, if you take the word rap and you put an E at the end, you get where I'm going. That's just what it was, because they felt like they were entitled to do that. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
A lot of twists and turns here. So a woman who worked for Kanye West's personal and executive assistant is suing him for sexual harassment and wrongful termination.
Let me guess, fellas, all the Kanye fans, she's same thing that happened with Diddy. Oh, he's innocent, you know, blah, 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 blah. She just wants the bag and everything like that. And then what we all saw with Diddy. Why do you think this is going to turn out any different? Okay. Well, the one thing we do know about Kanye, he makes his wife walk around nude. Now, that's creepy enough as it is. You know, there's a point where, like, I would almost buy it if, like, it was supposed to be some artful thing, but he makes her do it all the time, even at home. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's some way the 808 kicks that makes these dudes just lose all respect. I don't get it.
That's according to TMZ. The outlet reported on Monday that the lawsuit claims that the rapper would send her inappropriate text messages and pleasure himself during phone calls with her on the phone. A former OnlyFans model, Miss Lauren, because her first name, was hired by West in July 2021 on the promise that he would pay her a $1 million salary if she...
Henry Barr says, Kanye for president, don't we have an elections coming? Well, it's Kanye time.
He deleted her account to become God-like. You see, all right, let me continue. Giuliani did something like that too. Anyway, that's according to TMZ. But their relationship deteriorated quickly after West began sending her sexual messages. One allegedly read, "Is my racist? It is. This racist of mine. I'm going to stare at pictures of white women and black and beat the out of my racist." All right. So obviously she retained the text messages for her to be able to quote them so directly and detailed. Not just this, but according to Lauren, also claims he would pledge himself during phone conversations with her and ask if she could hear or guess what he was doing.
What?
And she claims he was fixated on his size, on the size of her boyfriends, not his own.
That's pretty damn creepy, if you ask me. But on Swallowed Up Friday Nights, we got it here for you. We got things going on here. And now let's get to the meat of the matter. Oh, TD Jakes.
I ain't come to convince you or nobody, because I know who I am. I came to hear the master say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant."
Geno Jennings is a bold preacher known for his straightforward and unapologetic approach to delivering his messages. He's often praised for his fearlessness in addressing controversial topics and expressing the views of the scriptures without hesitation. During one of his live broadcasts, he publicly criticized TD Jakes for associating with Diddy and attending his parties.
TD Jakes was hanging out at a rapper and twerking party. What? That Puff Daddy held. He's sitting right there. Oh, TD Snakes.
Amen.
They there twerking and everything. TD Snakes right there.
Oh man, see, yeah, in the house, Indiana, mom. Anyway, that's the funny thing, okay? That's the funny thing. He a preacher, right? TD Jakes is a preacher, and this guy's a preacher. Geno Jennings a preacher. Okay, here's the funny thing. They all been arrested. That's the funny part. So what's the point of being a preacher if you're going to be arrested? I mean, what's the point? You're supposed to keep people from getting arrested, not getting arrested. That's the funny part. So I don't get it. I don't get how that works. Why do we like people who get arrested so much? That's the weird thing. Why do we like creeps like Kanye West? You know, why is that? Why is that? That's something we need to reflect on and think about. We need to wonder why we do that. Why do we don't have the bandwidth of luck in our community to be able to withstand, shortcomings. And so that's basically what's going down. So let's dig deeper with TD Jakes. Here we go.
For David says, Jakes walked up to one of the detectives at the park with his pants unzipped. Jakes then began to
This is TD Jakes' son. He looks older than me. Man.
Debate while making eye contact with the detective, according to the affidavit. The detectives arrested Jakes on a charge of indecent exposure.
That's not TD Jakes they're talking about. They're talking about his son. Here we go.
Late Wednesday evening, CBS 11 News received a statement from Faith Johnson, an attorney for Jermaine Jakes. The statement read, "We are aware of potential allegations involving Jermaine Jakes and are undertaking our own investigation of these allegations at this time. Given an apparent government investigation, we have no further comment at this time." Thursday morning, Dallas County Sheriff's Department spokeswoman Kimberly Leach said Jermaine Jakes surrendered to law enforcement authorities earlier in the day. Jakes turned
like father, like son. I guess they having some fun.
Himself in at a local jail, Leach said, but she did not know which jail. After his surrender Thursday morning, a judge released Jakes on a personal recognizance bond. Various reports have identified Jermaine Jakes as the son of TD Jakes and also as his stepson. Faith Johnson, the attorney, told CBS 11 News he was TD Jakes' stepson.
Wow, they sure look similar. Well, the nose is different, no.
But on Thursday afternoon, we talked to Curtis Coates III, who is the chief of communications for the Potter's House. Coach said at various times, TD Jakes has identified Jermaine using both terms and told us either is acceptable.
That's okay. So that's okay. So let's go. Let's go with that. So he's got a creepy son. What does that mean? Here we go.
I think we can build a better America. It may not ever be a perfect America, but I do believe we could build a better America in this particular moment of time.
There's been a lot of gossip and speculation about TD Jakes, a well-known figure in the Christian community, possibly getting arrested. The charismatic pastor, author, and televangelist cast a shadow over his influential ministry and left many to wonder how much of the rumors were true.
What is the one thing in life you know for sure, for which you have no doubt?
There will be setbacks, but we don't all handle them the same.
However, the situation turned unexpectedly when Jake's son seemingly added credence to the swirling allegations. The implications of this potential development are far-reaching. Once again, is this merely a temporary storm that will inevitably pass? What secrets lie beneath the surface of this unfolding drama? Join us as we find out if TD Jake was officially arrested after his son confirmed the rumors. TD Jake,
Yes, he was. We'll see. Let's find out.
and the duality of his faith. The revered Christian world is shaken very deeply as TD Jake's son drops a big accusation. Just today, I've heard from 2 other victims who went through the same frightening experience I did. His scary words hang thick in the air, suggesting a hidden bad side hiding under the holy appearance of his father's empire. This can't be ignored, as stories from the past make such accusations very believable. As if this big surprise weren't enough, it comes during a storm of scandal. The famous bishop was caught enjoying a wild party with a rapper dancing under Puff Daddy.
See, now this is the thing that gets me. I'm going to stop it for just 1 second here. By the way, I dropped the link. You know, the only reason TD should be at Puff Daddy's party is, and this has happened. I mean, this was a long time ago, by the way, which makes it even worse, is to try to repair Puff Daddy or prepare Puff Daddy. As a member of the community and a leader of the community, he really had an obligation that if he saw something wrong with Puff Daddy, that he reported to the authorities, and he did neither one. You know, that's where that snitch thing just doesn't work. It's like this. If you want to respect not snitching, fine. But if you want to blame someone for the reason why the community way is the way it is, then it's probably because somebody didn't snitch on somebody who destroyed somebody or somebody's. And as you know, Puff Daddy has a long list. Why do you think? So what do you think about like that? Well, Puff Daddy's not the only one who's been doing this kind of shit. Yeah, I mean, why do you think our streets are not that safe? It's not. Puff Daddy can't, as bad as he is, he can't get around that much, right? So there are a lot of Puff Daddy clones in the streets. And if a preacher is not going to do the right thing, then what does that tell you about the community? Let me keep it
Daddy's
going.
watchful eye. It's shocking to think about a supposed man of God joining in the most sinful of worldly parties.
Right. I mean, that's like he's supposed to be the exorcist. He's supposed to clean everything up. And he chose to join in with the devil. That's how I see it. I have nothing against TD Jakes. I really don't. I don't know him at all. I have no feelings either way about him. I'm like, he's just a guy, you know? I know that he's a guy and he's supposed to be a guy of God, but he made the wrong decisions. To me, he is not.
Even though party people were shocked
Man of God.
to see a preacher there with such bad behavior, for those who know the entertainment world's bad sides, Jake's wrongdoings are just the start of a dirty problem. Rumors move around secretly, showing the behavior of a man much worse than he seems in public, a bad person pretending to be good, enjoying the rich people's wild lifestyle. In their private world of privilege, they ignore rules and do whatever they want.
I don't know if it really has a lot to do with being rich. I do agree with that. If a bandit gets rich, it makes him more of a bandit. Yeah. because he can afford to do that. But I don't believe being rich makes you a bad person.
Without feeling guilty or facing any punishment. When pious figures end up in scandalous news, it's not surprising. But T.D. Jakes has strongly criticized this usual thing with great energy. He used to be a well-respected connection between the spiritual and entertainment worlds. But now his intense chase for fame and money is more important than his religious teachings.
No, he had never changed. This is just what he was able to fool people for a long time, and it was able to get a lot of money by doing it.
Because behind all the talk about being holy, there's a man who's said to break his own rules all the time. In this big moral mess, one question burns. Is the truth worse than made-up stories? Or is a tough truth waiting to come out? As Jake's strong reputation lies in burning ruins, the world waits anxiously to see what bad secrets might still come out. Behind the pulpit prowess, swirling allegations, and multimedia empire lies an enigma with one haunting question. Who is the real T.D. Jakes? Is it a devout prophet? Or a charlatan peddling faith for fortune? Or is the media at it again? The remarkable journey of Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes. Thomas Dexter Jakes was born on June 9, 1957, in South Charleston, West Virginia. He was the youngest of 3 children born to businessman and entrepreneur Ernest Sr. and educator Odith. Growing up, Jakes was known in his community as the Bible Boy. Despite being told he would never preach due to his slight lisp, Jakes delivered his first sermon in 1976. He was officially ordained in 1979. When Jake was 10 years old, his father developed kidney failure. Despite this challenge, Jake spent his childhood in the Vandalia neighborhood of Charleston, West Virginia, where a street bears his family's name.
Dang. Okay. So he's had all this lineage and everything, and and then he ends up at a Diddy's party. He has to know that that's not a good decision.
Jakes met his wife, Sarita Ann Jameson, while guest preaching at her local church. They married in 1981. At the age of 23 in 1980, Jakes established the Temple of Faith Church in Montgomery, West Virginia. It started as a small storefront church with only 10 members. Jake balances his ministry responsibilities by working at Union Carbide. He earned his BA degree in Biblical Studies from Friends International Christian University in 1985, followed by his MA degree in Biblical Studies in 1990 and his D.Min. in 1995. In 1982, at the age of 25, Jakes became the pastor of the Greater Emmanuel Temple of Faith in Smithers, West Virginia, a small church with only 10 members. In 1987, Jake was ordained as a bishop. By 1988, he had been program affiliated with the Higher Ground Always Abounding Assemblies denomination.
I have never heard of any of these places.
Under Bishop Sherman Watkins. By 1990, Jake had relocated to South Charleston, West Virginia, where his congregation had grown to 300 members. In 1992, he delivered his first sermon titled, "Woman, Thou Art Loosed," which addressed the struggles faced by women. The following year, Jake started a weekly television program on the Trinity Broadcasting Network, marking his entry into the realm of televangelism. He also relocated to Cross Lanes, West Virginia around this.
So basically, you see what's going on. He's got all this stuff going on here. I got to get past that. I want to get back to this Diddy shit. Okay, so right about here.
Spell over people worshiping these men and women as gods must be sad. Another focused on Jake's devoted followers, saying, "I've seen this firsthand. His breakdown gave me chills. The spell over people worshiping these men and women as gods must be broken." Of course, the full truth has yet to emerge, and while some may judge without all the facts, T.D. Jakes hasn't had an unblemished record. Even before these recent claims, just weeks ago, the preacher got entangled in a situation involving a rapper that further damaged his credibility. The unholy alliance. It's no secret that social media is now a powerful place where famous people gain fans, new trends start and end quickly, and juicy stories cause big reactions. A recent case involving well-known preacher T.D. Jakes and rapper P. Diddy shows just how wild the online world can get. Normally, T.D. Jakes is known for teaching about religion, but this time, he's in the spotlight for allegedly being connected to P. Diddy. The supposed
Supposed to be fighting the devil, not being friends with the devil. And I think we can all agree that Diddy was and is the devil. It's that simple. I mean, I'm not saying he's directly the devil, but he's doing devil things. And if you're not going to fix that guy, you know, then you're part of the problem. That's what happened here. That's what I got to say. So basically, not only did TD Jakes get swallowed up allegedly by Diddy, he got swallowed up by the feds after that. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They arrested him. And I mean, and this is we have nobody else to blame. We don't have to blame the media or the law enforcement or anything. It's these men, they knew they were doing bad and they kept doing it. Let's lighten this up a little bit. This is a little comedy. Here we go, everybody. Here we go.
Corey Harris joined a virtual court hearing after getting in trouble for driving with a suspended license.
Remember old Corey Harris driving with a suspended license? Yeah. So basically, it breaks down like this. Guess what Corey claims to be? A preacher, like T.D. Jakes. A preacher's supposed to teach. Don't get me wrong now. Look, let me tell you. I am no preacher. I'm not saying I'm a preacher. I'm not an expert in preachers, but I do know the basics. Basically, what preachers are supposed to do is make people be better, make people their best self, right? That's what preachers are technically supposed to do, but that's not always the case. Let's go on.
He decided it was a good idea to zoom into court while driving. So Judge Corey Harris joined a virtual court hearing after getting in trouble for driving with a suspended license. He decided it was a good idea to zoom into court while driving. So Judge J. Cedric,
oh, and there's so many twists up in here. Let me tell you. Okay, so basically, just in case you didn't hear what she said that Corey was driving without a license. Corey was in a car with a license. He was on a video call with the courts. Okay. While driving without a license or on a suspended license. The judge breaks it down exactly what's going to be, what it is, but here we go.
how did you not think about this before you made this stupid decision?
The charge was driving. Let me pause it because it's very important that you know that Corey is not. This is really it's still bad. You saw it's a nonviolent offense, but he still was in jail, right? On it by his own actions because he failed to follow the law. Let's keep it going.
Driving without a license. It's not like it was an unrelated charge. That is unbelievable.
A few moments later.
Corey Harris, who went viral last week.
Okay, so basically, then he gets the man. Okay, listen.
Due to a video that showed him driving while attending a court hearing for driving with a suspended license, was actually the victim of a clerical error and also misreported news.
Well, it gets deeper. It gets deeper now. Listen, keep it going.
And so we have to correct our own coverage of this because there was some context that was totally missing from the reporting. Now, he actually did not have a suspended license. And the reason why it appeared he had a suspended license was due to a clerical error.
A few moments later.
There is yet another twist in the case of a man who made a...
I'm going to pause. We're going to fast forward. And this is what's going down. Okay, let me get it back to the point. Okay, here we go.
because new information has shown that Corey never had a license at all in his life. Matter of fact, the news organizations asked Corey, well, since
Corey, he looked like he's at least in his 40s, right? He never had a license ever. But he's driving around like he's driving around. Why do we do shit like that? Now, here's the funny
your
part.
license wasn't suspended. Have you ever had a license? And listen to what he says.
He has never had a Michigan license, ever.
We asked Harris yesterday if he ever had a valid driver's license. He claimed he didn't remember.
Do you ever recall having one? Having a driver's license?
I knew I had a permit. I knew that.
A driver's permit, or?
I believe. I don't know. I can't say yes and I can't say no.
And that's odd because the Pittsfield Township police officer and prosecutor said during that October traffic stop, Corey Harris knew what was up.
At least twice during this traffic stop, he acknowledged to the officer that he did not have a valid license.
Now, this man has never, ever had a license. So the judge had to bring him back in and tell him what the deal is.
So I will try to get through this as quick as I possibly can.
Man, is this crazy or
But
what?
I will tell you, first of all, with any reference to your client having had a license on that day, and some indication or misunderstanding as to whether or not he had a license, let me make it very clear, based upon what the court looked at, he has never had a Michigan license, ever. And has never had a license in the other 49 states and commonwealths that form up this great union.
Okay, so basically he never, ever had a license. I think the judge made that clear. Let's keep going.
He has never had a license. In point of fact, when they suspended his license, and what people don't understand, when they suspended his license in Saginaw, they don't suspend the license. They suspend the privilege to drive in this state. Hence, for example, if he had had a Kentucky license, he would be able to drive everywhere that Kentucky would allow him to drive. He just couldn't drive in Michigan because his privileges had been restricted. I know you know that, but that wasn't at all said. But it doesn't matter because he didn't have a license.
How many ways does a person have to say he did have a license? You know, that's the funny part.
Ever. There is also then, and I will, when it is necessary, come to the defense of my sister courts, and I will come to the defense of Saginaw. They got a great chief judge. Chief judge answered the question. But I will tell you, that court and its friend of the court did nothing wrong. His license was his driving privileges, better stated, were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it.
Right.
Therefore, the friend of the court was under.
Basically, what he's saying is that if he would have applied and received another license, he would have been legit. But for some bandit reason, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't get legit. All he needed. And the funny thing, I got to let you hear this. You're going to be laughing when you hear
No
that.
obligation to send anything to the Secretary of State. Now, I hated that I had to look at all of this, but when there's a question as to what I did, I'm going to look at everything to make sure that what I did was all in order. There's then an indication from that because that wasn't sent, there was a direct attack on Michigan's Department of Secretary of State's office, saying that the Secretary of State was somehow at fault.
The whole galaxy, but especially the Michigan Secretary of State's office, owe this man a huge, sincere apology.
Oops.
Let me tell you something. Secretary of State did what they were supposed to do. And in point of fact, they did nothing because they hadn't gotten anything from the court because Mr. Harris had not paid the reinstatement.
So Mr. Harris didn't pay the reinstatement to get his license, but he thought because they enabled his driving privileges, he could. But you still need to get a license.
this week or latter part of last week, once he paid that, Saginaw friend of the court did what they should do, and they sent it. Immediately, based upon the information that I have, the Secretary of State did what they do every day. They took that suspension off of his driving record, and he was then unsuspended. And then your client did what he needed to do with reference to the Secretary of State and paid a read. Okay. Just a second, Mr. Schiller. I'm going to let everybody respond because
Thank you.
I am not done yet. Here's the part that was disturbing for me, so that you know.
Okay.
Mr. Harris indicated that at some point he had been involved in some accident. And being involved into the accident, that he was basically bedridden or at least housebound, he could not get to the Secretary of State.
Now, remember now, he got in an accident, okay, without a license. Man.
That was set up there. And I'm going to presume, because my knowledge of defense counsel is, I know you don't misrepresent anything.
Right.
You never do.
Right.
That's not true.
Okay.
He purposely stated that he could not get to the Secretary of State, which, for the way we handle things in this court, would have placed him in a whole different category. We would have tried to find a way. Let's figure it out.
This is what I love about judges, is that especially when they are good, they are so data driven. They get down to the bottom of it. So if somebody's trying to punt, run a hustle or something, a lot of them are on it. Now, of course, you can say, "Oh yeah, the judges, the justice system is all bad, and then they're holding a brother down." But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, did you do it or did you not do it?
And the reason I know that is because Mr. Harris, on December 28th of 2023, do you know where you were?
December 28th, 23.
23rd.
2023.
I know I was laid up from our accident.
You were at the Secretary of State's office. And you were at the Secretary of State's office because you redid and got your new Michigan ID.
Let me clear something up here. Basically, he was at the same office that issues driver's license. Okay. He's in like the next line to the driver's license line, getting an identification, but not a license. So you have to see this is what's so funny about it.
I have the date. That's the date you did it. December 28th, 2023. You did. And so that you also know, and in all fairness to counsel, because I don't know.
Let me tell you an analogy for a minute. Should I tell an analogy? Let's say a guy or somebody lies on you and says, okay, that you lied on them, right? And the truth of the lie is they say that they don't know certain people, right? They say that. They go as far as trying to get the police to arrest you for it. Okay? Yeah, they actually try. They call the feds on you. They call the police on you. And their evidence, their main statement of evidence is that you told them, okay, and you told the courts that 3 men were in cahoots with each other. The 3 were in cahoots with each other. Okay? And you sent this to, at the time, he was mad because you sent something to the courts saying that. He says that was a lie. So he sends in this FBI, complaint to the FBI saying that he don't know them niggas. But then the next thing you know, he knows them. And there's evidence. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. And he knew them when this happened because the dates are what they are. That's why I love the court system, because they're going to break that down.
Knows this or not. The way I know that he's never had a license is because May 3rd, 1990, he was 19 at the time. May 3rd, 1999, he applied for his first Michigan ID. Council knows, so I do. You cannot have both. You either have an ID or you have a license.
Exactly.
One of the two.
And he was, and I'm telling you, this is how much this fella was lying. He was right in the same room where you could have got a license, but he didn't do it. Why do we do that?
He has religiously every year gotten a new ID. And so he knows that he doesn't have a license. And quite frankly, I just wish he would have said that at the beginning. And all of this hoopla could have been just put all aside. And we all go through the process as we do with all of the people coming here to try to get him his license back.
So just so everyone is clear about what happened, this man had never had a license anywhere, any state, any Commonwealth. He's never had a license. So when he was pulled over for driving without a license, they suspended his driving privileges just in case he may have had some license somewhere else, which he didn't, but he could not drive in the state of Michigan. His driving privileges were suspended. They couldn't suspend his license because he never had a license. So even though they reinstated his driving privileges, he still couldn't drive because he didn't have a license. He never had a license. So at the end of the day, you had a man show up to court driving without a license, getting busted by the judge. The judge sends him to jail. Then he goes online and says, "Oh, they was wrong. My license was cleared up." Forgetting to tell
license. See, he lied there. Listen to this. Listen to the you got to listen to this.
And show up to court driving without a license, getting busted by the judge. The judge sends him to jail. Then he goes online and says, "Oh, they was wrong. My license was cleared up."
See, the thing is that he just lied right there. It just tells you right there that Corey was a liar, because why would he say a license which he never, ever had was cleared up? He's had an ID, which a license is an ID and a driving privilege card at the same time. An ID is just an ID. Here we go.
Forgetting to tell everybody that, hey, I never actually had a license to begin with. Now goes back to court and the judge is like, why are you telling everybody you were able to drive when you obviously weren't able to drive and you know it? So at the end of all this, the judge was like, hey, you actually have a warrant for your arrest, and put him back in jail because of the warrant.
Oh, man. See, that's why I find, I've been finding, law fascinating. And it's like, all he had to do is get a doggone license. Now, he won't be in jail long because there's too many bandits running around that have done worse, there are dudes out there abusing women. They should be first. So I don't want him in jail long for this, but I do not want him driving, and I do not want him. I want him to get a license together. So I don't want him to be in jail for 5 years and shit. No, but he needs to understand that he can't be doing shit he's not supposed to be doing. And that's what happened to him. So think about it. They're putting him in jail for just driving on a suspended license. What if somebody did something worse than that?
Check it out.
Then came the unexpected.
He has a warrant for his arrest.
Corey Harris was taken into custody for what appears to be a 9-year-old bench warrant out of Allen Park.
So was I shocked? Absolutely. Did I want my client to?
So he had a bench warrant for something else. So stack that on top of the other thing. I guess they were probably going to let him go. Okay. Now remember Corey, I got to bring it all the way back here. Corey, his main thing is being a preacher. Our community is doomed.
Walk in, then get escorted to the back? Absolutely not.
So at the end of the day, people made fun of him. Then everybody comes out with these apologies. The court is wrong. And now everybody's got to come out with another apology saying that, no, the court was right. And this guy was actually the one wrong. He was driving without a license.
Well, Sexy Red, donkey.
He was driving without a license, never had a license, won't probably get a license. He better get himself a good bike, or I guess, I don't know, motor scooter, something that you can drive around illegally.
Get a day for Thursday, June.
Oh yeah, and this fool right here, he's the donkey of the day. To me, Charlemagne's the donkey of the day because he's just a donkey of the day. Or the bandit of the day, whatever way you want to look at it.
Wrong. He was driving without a license.
Well, Sexy Red, donkey of the day for Thursday, June 6th goes to Corey Harris. Before I give Corey Harris the final boss credit he deserves for being stupid, I must take back hee-haws I gave to the Honorable Judge Cedric Simpson. Take it back, Eddie. I gotta take
Yeah,
back.
whatever. Anyway, y'all, that was kind of funny to me. Now we're going into some weird shit. Here we go.
Today, we welcome to the program Royce White. Royce is a Republican running for the U.S. Senate seat. Actually, Amy Klobuchar's seat, interestingly enough. Royce has been endorsed by Steve Bannon and Alex Jones in the Minnesota Republican Party.
Okay, so two of the most, let's say, racially unnice people to black people he is pals with. That's already a bad sign.
Party also hosts the Please Call Me Crazy podcast, available on YouTube. Royce, if I understand correctly, in 2020, you wrote in Tulsi Gabbard, but you're behind Trump currently. Is that right?
That is correct.
So listen, you came to my attention in a clip I talked about the other day, where you said one of the issues you find right now is that women have become, quote, too mouthy. Tell me about that. How did you?
Here we go again. See, the reason why black men are trying to become, because they're not what they call conservative or Republicans, is because they don't like themselves. That's basically why most of these black men are doing it. They're doing it because they feel like for some reason that the Republicans will bring back Jim Crow, but only target black women with Jim Crow and not them. I'm straightforward with you. So basically, that's what's going on. So let's keep this going. So it's already gotten into the misogyny part by saying women are too mouthy. Let's see what else he's going to say about this.
Come to believe that?
Well, first of all, I was being humorous.
You were?
Yeah, no, I was being pretty humorous. I'm kind of a sick puppy. I got a sort of
that's true.
Unique humor. But I will say that it is my opinion, but I think even more so a fact that the left has weaponized identity politics in our current political culture. And
this sounds like he basically doesn't think for himself. I can tell you that right now, because for the last minute, he has used every buzzword out there. Okay.
At the identities of women, the LGBTQ, blacks, and Jews are all sort of used in a similar fashion to manufacture consent that being an American citizen isn't so much that important anymore. And so
what I'm really talking about, that's the weird thing, is like everything he just said is just gobbledygook.
Example of that. Give me an example of that.
Well-
So let's just pick one of those, for example.
Well, let's take all four because they're all four fruit from the same poisonous
So
tree.
now he wants to confuse things again, and instead of just this, the young man on the left is just trying to simplify things. So this guy doesn't go around in circles. Let's see what happens.
Well, but just so that it's clear to the audience, let's just pick one as an example to show kind of your line of reasoning. How has female identity been weaponized in order to show that being an American citizen isn't important?
Well, number one, the feminist movement and the women's rights movement have been.
Oh, here we go. Especially in our community, the feminist movement is really not. It's all it is about is, can I get a job? Shit, that's what it is.
Clumped into a more global citizen based.
Can I get a job, and can I avoid men like this? That's what women are saying. That's basically what's up.
Ideology that we are all one global citizenship, and the women's rights
What
movement
the hell is he talking about?
is at the helm of that, much by their own powerful organization, grassroots, not only here in the country but all around the world.
If that were the case, though, Royce, and I'm just trying to understand this, I want this to be a conversation.
But wait a second. But what I'm saying is, and
He wants to clean it up. That's why he interrupted him, even though he literally was finished. But he thought he knew this dude right here. He knew he messed up. He knew he sounded stupid. So he didn't want this young man over here to the left to, expose him.
let me be even more specific.
Yeah.
The prevailing consensus around the women's
You weren't even specific at first. So what are you trying to do?
rights movement and the feminist movement are ideas such as believe all women. That was popular with the Me Too movement. And then you have an even more.
That wasn't that. They never said that. See, it's like what he's doing is he's chaining together catchphrases. That's how you know. That's how you know when somebody doesn't know. Because every individual has a certain way of speaking. Why is it when he speaks, it's always one catchphrase after another that somebody else made up and not him? So all he has to rely on is the fact is that he's saying catchphrases in a certain order that maybe somebody else didn't say. But unfortunately, that's not true. Here we go.
Pervasive idea that in general, and it's said casually, but it's said with a lot of emphasis and potency, let's say, that men are not useful and that women.
No, that's not it. I've never heard that. I've never heard that at all. That shows you that basically he's a man who has low self-esteem. I've never thought about not being useful. And men who are normal don't think about that. I don't think any man's heard, oh, men are not useful. That's just crazy to me. Typical, typical self-hating, blah, blah. I can't say the other part. But basically, yeah, he's self-hating. He went to and he supports the very people that will take his rights away the most.
Are the women in their existence in this country politically right now today, but sort of all around the world, are nothing more than a byproduct of a tyrannical patriarchy. And by that definition, or by that thinking, that men are more so a hindrance on society and
who
useless.
Says that? Who says men aren't useful? Give me a name.
Thank you, David Packman. But thank you. Let's see what he says. I bet he's going to say something Trump-like. Watch, like a lot of people, everybody says it. Watch.
By that definition, or by that thinking, that men are more so a hindrance on society and
who
useless.
Says that?
And,
who says men aren't useful? Give me a name.
Well, I mean, for one is Anna Navarro, self-described Republican centrist Anna Navarro.
Anna Navarro says that men aren't useful?
Anna Navarro sat right up there on The View with Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of them, and she made a joke about men not being useful except for gay men because they're very good at gossip and accessorizing.
But
She said it right
we
there on national
started this
television.
interview with you saying, "Oh, what you said about women being mouthy is a joke." You're conceding what Ana Navarro said is a joke, and so you're one example.
Well,
of
no, I don't
hold
think
on a
it's a
second. Let me
joke.
get the question out.
I don't
Royce.
know. I don't think
Hold on
it's a
second,
joke.
Royce. Hold on, hold on.
See, now he knows David got him. He knows David got him because what he's saying is that he made a joke analogy at the beginning about women being mouthy, but that shouldn't be taken seriously, right? But then when he makes the comment about Ana Navarro, now is as his primary example, right? As his primary example and only example so far that that women think this way
Behar
of
and Whoopi
men.
Goldberg and the rest of them, and she made a joke about men not being useful except for gay men because they're very good at gossip and accessorizing.
But
She said it right
we
there on national
started this
television.
interview with you saying, "Oh, what you said about women being mouthy is a joke." You're conceding what Ana Navarro said is a joke, and so you're one example.
Well,
of
no, I don't
hold
think
on a
it's a
second. Let me
joke.
get the question out.
I don't
Royce.
know. I don't think
Hold
it's
on
a
second.
joke.
So hers wasn't a joke and yours was a joke. That's what David is trying to explain to you or clear up. He's exposing your hypocrisy, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Hold on. You
No,
just
wait
said
a
it's a
second.
joke.
Let's
You
be
just said
clear.
it's a joke.
No, I didn't. I said what I said was said in humor, but it had a lot of validity to it. I don't think what Ana Navarro said was a joke, even though it was said in a joking setting.
How
I
do you
actually
know it
think
wasn't a joke then?
No, I said I don't think it's a joke.
Okay.
Just like people would say they don't think what I said is a joke. I have the right to think that. My point is that there is a growing ideology that you can see by looking
Well,
at
the only ideology that's growing is that the one you're making up. I've never heard what he just said ever.
social media, which is a good temperature gauge of what people think, obviously, because you're bringing up something I said that was posted on social media.
Well, I don't want to get bogged down in this necessarily, but it sounds, Royce,
No, it's
like
not.
you're
No,
one
it's not
example.
bogged down. It's
it sounds
important
like you're-
detail.
It sounds like
Welcome Trizzle. Welcome Trizzle.
you're one detail of the prevailing view of the feminist movement being men aren't useful is something Ana Navarro said jokingly. Is that
No,
right?
no. Nen Navarro, just like you're trying to represent my views, or let's not say you, let's say the mainstream media has tried to represent my view about women in general based on one soundbite from one podcast as a general sort of picture.
No, you just he just gave you the opportunity, bro, to clear it up, and you didn't.
About that, Royce. I'm
no,
just
let's
asking
not
you,
forget
what are your
about it. No,
examples?
let's not forget about it. If you're going to keep interrupting me, then I'm going to keep interrupting you. What I'm saying is
that's really mature.
that the mainstream media, no, you're saying it's not going anywhere. I'm explaining it perfectly fine. The mainstream media is trying to depict or paint a picture of a rising,
People in the house.
let's say, misogynist America First movement based on my one soundbite. But then you turn around and say, well, you can't.
Well, you are misogynist. I mean, that's what your ideology is. So just embrace it if that's what you want. But don't try to walk it back.
Talk about all feminist ideology based on Ana Navarro. What are we talking about? I'm not.
No,
first of all, I'm not doing that.
Can reframe. No, let's see if we can reframe, Royce, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
You've sort of been leading this, okay? You identified a number of groups. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me just get the question out. And then if you disagree with the question, then the audience can judge for themselves.
Okay.
You indicated a number of groups. You named women and you named Jews and you named others
Blacks
that are
and
making
the
it so that
LGBTQ.
being an American citizen is no longer super important. We focused in. Hold on a
Blacks,
second, Royce. I gotta
women,
be
the
able to get the question out.
LGBTQ.
Why is this dude? David is just kind of sprucing over what he said. He's not saying he wants to sit on that comment.
Jews. I want to be clear.
Hold on a sec.
Don't
you
say
named
in
a
other
number of
groups. Don't say and other groups. The four groups were blacks, the LGBTQ, women, and Jews.
Yes. We focused in on women.
Yes.
And I asked you for examples. And the one example that you have provided to justify the claim you made is something Ana Navarro said on The View.
No, just an example.
Well, give me another example. Who are the people saying that men are not useful?
Oh, well, they're not. Well, that just happened to be what Ana Navarro said specifically.
But you said that that's
he just gave you the opportunity to just come up with somebody else. Come up with, I mean, you're making it sound like it's a lot of people. If it's a lot of people, then you got a lot of examples. Just give him another example. That's what all he's asking for, bro.
Ideology.
Who says
the ideology is that men represent the remnant of.
So basically, he lied. He doesn't know anybody else who said that. He's using the ideology, and now he's going to make it very vague that men are not useful. The bottom line is this: he's lying. Here we go.
Of a tyrannical patriarchy, and by default, the usefulness of men is in question at a societal-wide basis.
Okay.
No, it's not. Men still run everything. Nobody's saying going to work and going to a gas station or going to someone say, oh, you know something, you're not useful, sir. They ain't doing that, dude. There's nobody walking around with men aren't useful t-shirts on. So you've literally made up drama. That's what you've done. You've literally made up drama. That's it.
Okay. I don't want to use all our time on this, but it sounds like we're not going to get any more examples, and the audience can kind of judge that for themselves.
Hey, you can pick anybody you want. The whole Me Too movement was based on the claim that we should believe all women. Do you think we should believe?
Okay, I don't know about you, but I didn't hear anybody say believe all women. Now, technically, the bottom line is this, is that he picked a wrong movement. He's picking a movement of victims that were at the very least exploited, if not abused by creeps. Okay? It shows you how dangerous this man is. That's what it shows you.
Believe all women?
Well, that we've already talked about. It's a completely different question, and it has to do with
No,
what
it's
is the
not.
responsibility
It's just,
of
no.
police to
Wait a
investigate
second.
if
Wait a
there's
second.
probable
Wait a
cause, and
second.
it has nothing whatever.
Wait a second.
whatever
It's
to
not
do
a
with the
different question.
usefulness of being
It's
an
not a
American
different
citizen.
question at all. It's certainly
It's a different question. One is about creeps. The other one is about usefulness. They're two different. And exactly, the statement was believe women. Yep. Thank you, Rat Girl. You broke it down. You broke it down. Yep. Indiana mom moving the goalposts, gaslighting, projecting. Exactly.
does, because there are fundamental rights of being an American citizen, one of which has always been the presumption of innocence. Number one. So there is complete merit to bring it into question when we talk about American citizenship.
Royce,
But,
you
again,
understand that when police investigate crimes, they investigate crimes, but that doesn't take away the presumption of innocence in a court of law. Like, this is basic legal stuff, Royce.
No. It takes away the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion.
But this is crazy.
It takes away the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion, which now in today's world can be just as dangerous as the opinion in the court of law. And even for
false rape claims are 0.02% of all sexual assault claims.
According to you. According
to crime reporting from police departments all over the country.
According to you.
And why is he saying that? Why doesn't he just, if this is how you know this man did no research? Because if David Pakman was wrong, this man would simply just say, no, in this book, in this location or this page, it is this. It's not what you said, Pakman. It's that. But he doesn't. Instead, he just keeps blubbering.
Police departments.
According to you, then why don't they bring more claims?
Who?
Why don't more make it to the courtroom?
Oh my God. This is one of the most ignorant comments ever made. Why don't they make it to the courtroom? Number one, some of them don't make it at all. Some of them, they know that if it gets, see, SA is one of the most, let's just put it this way, women don't get always a fair shake in SA. Let's just put it that way. Most of the time, they're not going to get, so they're not going to go to the courtrooms because they're not going to get any protection. If they were going to get an armed guard at their door after reporting that given person, you would see, I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, you would see the numbers jump. We're talking about if there's anything that law enforcement needs to do better is keep better records and better protection for women when it comes to SA. They don't. So why should a woman go? She's trying to just get away. That's how people like Diddy and other monsters get away with it. Because they know that, like, look, these dudes, if they're bad enough to SA, they're bad enough to do other shit. So I don't get it.
What claims?
Because they lack evidence. The reason why police departments say, first of all,
He's lying right now. It's not that they don't lack evidence. Shoot, look at Diddy's thing. They brought up shit from 10 years, 15 years ago. It's not the evidence. It's nobody. They're worried that nobody's going to do anything. So I understand what he's trying to say. There's some innocent men that get accused. For every one innocent man that gets accused, there's like 20 who get away with it. So I don't see what his argument is.
Again, you're trying to sidetrack me and you keep interrupting me. You brought me on your show.
No, your intelligence is sidetracking you. That's the problem.
This sidetrack.
You brought me on your show. You brought me on your show.
And we're not.
Duh. You brought
me about a question about women. I'm answering a question about feminists and the feminist movement.
Hold on, Royce. You
the point is when you assume that all women are telling the truth or that we should believe all women on face value, by default,
I don't know anyone who has said that.
See, now he's making up. This guy is a habitual liar, and it's really getting on my nerves. I'm going to play a few more minutes. Here we go.
The whole movement of the whole Me Too movement was based on this idea that believe all women.
That's your assertion.
That exactly. Obviously, if somebody has to say believe, it's actually believe women, which the Rat Girl had informed us. It's believe women, in which with that assertion, you can tell that the problem is, especially in Hollywood, that people pretended not to believe women. We know they know. Like everybody knew R. Kelly was a monster. Everybody knew Weinstein was a monster. Everybody knew Diddy is a monster. Everybody knew Chris Brown is a monster. Everybody knows all these men are a monster, but we pretend they're not monsters and we pretend they're innocent. That's the problem. That's where that came from. It's not about this Me Too movement. It's about logic. It's just about pure logic. It's about if somebody tells you something and then there's with evidence, then what is the deal?
And I don't believe that to be true.
Oh, okay. Well, you let your viewers decide then. Let's go to the next question.
Trust but verify is the view that I've always had.
Believe all women was the commercial, widespread commercial. Believe all women was the widespread commercial and cultural sentiment from the Me Too movement, 150,000%.
You gotta be kidding me. Wait, when was this done? This is a day ago. People don't even talk about the Me Too movement anymore. That's how dated his shit is. That's crazy to me.
Oh, Royce, you sidetracked us on believe all women, right?
No,
you brought it up
didn't.
out of nowhere.
The believe all women idea is a part of the claim that women have become mouthy.
Okay.
Now he thinks he's just been a genius, but what he doesn't know is that his eye movement and his body movement tells me he made that up and he's lying, and he's just thinking he's just happy he got the lies to stack up on each other.
Let me ask about a couple of
And
other
I
things
will say, in that vein,
yeah,
when women are allowed to say things about men with no boundaries or no constraints whatsoever, and it's culturally accepted across American culture.
What the hell? The whole red pill movement is about men saying negative shit about women without being held accountable. What is that?
And across political culture, that is, in my opinion, more than a valid reason to be able to say, hey, women are getting out of control. And I do think radical feminists are getting out of control. I should have been more specific. But
I get the
thought I was
point
being
that
humorous.
you think women are out of control. I got it.
No,
Let me ask
no.
about
I
a
said
couple
radical
things.
feminists are out of
No, you first said women are getting out of control, and then you followed it up with radical feminists are getting out of control. Your lies are not working. Sorry, next.
control. Be clear. And they are. That's why they're bringing their children to drag stripper shows.
Oh my freaking God. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see part 2 of this on another live stream. But right now, this is DJ Torch. I can get ready to do some things. I'm out of here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming through. Indiana Mom, Drizzle, Rap Girl. Henry Mars. Evan, Dizzy B.
It's not hard to fool me.
Coming through.
'Cause I'm addicted to the good life.
I got
Lead the way. I follow. No need to say.
We're here in the show.
You're heading now, babe.
Battle against
I follow.
hypocrites.
To the edge of it all. To the edge of it all.
Break it down, break it down.
So tell your good lies. 'Cause I'll find a better one. Yeah. Susceptible now. Before the moment flies. Ooh. So tell your good lies. 'Cause I'll find a better